Okay, folks, welcome. Once again, I'm going to do another Viviva Watercolor test, and I'm going to use their pan set, which comes like this in this nice little cork holder. And they give you a little test card that I'm not going to use because these are kind of small, and I like it. Here's the cover for the palette. I do like a slightly larger test strip, and so I'll use something like that. All right, so it's a very nice set. I think it's about $22 or $25, something like that. If you use my discount code, which is, I think it's WileyP, it'll be at the end of this video, you'll get a 10% discount. So these are pretty nice watercolors, and I enjoy them for traveling, doing plein air work. So, all right, let's dive in. I lost my palette. Well, that didn't take long. There we go. All right, so I got my colors here. I've got 4 brushes of various, I guess I only really need the 3. Let's see, kind of a triple round set here. So I'm going to use the largest brush, and let's see, I need something to put some paint in. And just the thing, Mary Kay makeup trays. My wife sells Mary Kay, so she ends up with a bunch of these, so I'm happy to use them. So first thing I'm going to do is probably just wet the entire board, and I'm using Canson watercolor board. And this drawing, this is just a print of one of my drawings, and I printed on the watercolor board. So in the end, this is not an original watercolor. It's a watercolored or hand watercolored print. You can figure that out. So I'm trying to stay out of the camera range, so forgive me if that doesn't work well. All right, so with that being said, I'm going to get a little bit of this, I think I'll call this more like a cerulean blue, and get some of that, soak that, put it in the tray, and just go to town. I'm a very quick painter. I don't dawdle. As you'll see, I'll probably do this thing in about 20 minutes. So I just place the sky color in, a little darker across the top as always. And since the surface is wet, it kind of flows nicely. Now, for the purpose of demoing, I use this slightly vertical easel. Obviously, with traditional watercolor work, you want to lay your painting or your board slightly flat or just slightly inclined. All right, gonna add a little bit of, maybe a little bit of lavender up here. I think that maybe this is called orchid, I don't know, just looks like a nice color. Have a little fun with. And once again, since the board is wet, the paint's gonna flow. And a little peach here. Give a little warmth to the lower part of the sky. And you see I'm already getting into trouble with the paint running, but hey, just gotta stay after it. All right. Next up, we've got this this green background. Trying to get a little bit of burnt sienna in here to kill this green down to a manageable, far away green color. And I'm just gonna tuck some color into the tree areas, the foliage area that's back in the background. I'll probably revisit this later and do a little bit blue over it to make it disappear into the background a little bit. I have to keep cleaning up my runs, as you can see. Okay. So let's just jump down here and do a little, what do we have here? A little bit of everything. A little bit of a blue-green, so I'm going to kill that with some orange. I have a strange color sense, I know. This is meant to represent the street, dirty asphalt, so go ahead and put that in there. And watercolor is a nicely transparent medium, so if you don't really care for the color, you can come back and overlay, do a light overlay of other color if you need to darken something up. Alright, so we just roll along, lay down our asphalt. Okay, I'm going to re-wet the canvas a little bit to clean up some of these drippy areas. Alright, let's see. Next thing I think I'm going to do is get some nice strong green, because for those who don't know, this is a building in Historic Ellicott City, Maryland. That is, even though it's dates from around 1840s, the local Howard County government has actually already torn it down because, well, I better just not get into the politics of it, because it just makes me very upset. So I'm just going to, this is a brick structure. This section of the building is the part that dates from about 1840s, 1845, we'll just say middle. And it's a painted brick structure. Let's see, there's a chimney here, so we gotta get that. So you see these colors are really nicely rich colors. Just a little bit of water, a little bit of paint, and you're off. Okay. And it has this this sort of New Orleans style cast iron railing all over the place, so we have to kind of paint in between things here. Around the roof, around the trim, around the telephone poles and doorways, etc. So I'm still using a fairly big brush. I'm still using my biggest brush, because all I can tell you about that is when you paint, you need to use the largest brush that you can use until it's just too large to do the details. Then you switch to your smaller. And I'll mention that when I do finally get there. Got a little too much paint there, so I just put it in this lower section where I'm going to be using it anyway. And I have a little bit less paint on the brush right now. I'm just taking my time, wandering around on everything. And the fact that the board has dried out a little bit means the paint is not going to run around and give me trouble quite as much. Okay. We're getting there. And this is the lower part of the second story, under the second story porch. So we just tuck that green. We try to look in between the car and the windows to see where that color would be peeking through. And we just keep on going. Okay. Block that a little bit with my hand. Okay. Kind of mix up a little bit more color. And then let's see. Move over to here. This is that little dormer at the top. And then move over here to the wood siding. Now this section is more recent. It dates from I want to say about 1910, and this is also all being torn down in the name of, well, you know, misguided government. Ellicott City is one of the most amazing and historic districts in the entire country, if not the world. Tucka River was kind of the birthplace, or one of the many birthplaces of the Industrial Revolution. because of the water. First, I think there were 7 mills here back in the late 1700s, early 1800s, and they were all water powered. But I'm getting away from the business at hand, so let's just get back to the painting. All right, so there is the main structure of the building. The lower section is brick. So looking for a little bit of red here and there, a little bit of orange. There we go. And we'll just start right here. Fill in the bricks and look at what a nice color that is. As I said, these Viviva colors are very intense, very strong. You just need a little bit of water and you can just really go to town. The fun thing about watercolors is they're not going to hurt you. They're non-toxic. Children can use them. Not anything that you need to worry about. Unlike, oil paints and some other types of paints. Watercolors are very user-friendly, very safe. Okay. We're working on to the brick section of the building. Okay. All right, so let's see. Next, I think I will switch to a smaller brush. The roof itself is one of those metal standing seam metal roof, and that is a rusty red color. So we go ahead and hit that. And again, I have swapped out to the next size brush. Give a little hit of color over here for the edge of the roof that would show. Just that tiny little bit. And this upper roof is also a red standing seam roof. Got it out that time. So very simple. And once again, I might as well put that little, even this upper part of this roof is, this cap is a little bit of red metal along the edge. So we clean that up. Let's see, while we've got the red, let's see, I think this building next door is red. Red siding. Clean that up a little bit. All right, let's see, where are we? Let's take some yellow. And this car is like a, I don't know, 1929 Woody wagon, I think they're called. And it has maple sides, as I recall, and probably stained maple darks around the edges, so we'll just put that wood color in there. Okay, let's see, let's back up a little bit. We got the church in the background, and that is just a gray granite color, so a little bit of blue, a little bit of this and that, too much green. Let's try to, all right. Just gonna block that in a little bit. And they have kind of a, I think it's a slate roof, so see if I get a blue slate color going here. Yeah, something like that. And we'll just tuck in a little bit of blue slate color here. And there you have it. Clean up the drips. Once again, I'm having to do that because I'm demoing on a vertical surface. And we'll just color the back side of the roof here. And then as I do that, I realize this other building is this other little section is also a brick building. So we'll hit that with a little brick color. while I've got that color out, I want to strengthen up my roof edge color here. It just dried a little bit too light, so just gotta hit that all one more time, just a little bit. As I said, transparent watercolor, you can kind of build it up a little bit, as long as you don't rub too hard with your brush. You won't disturb the color underneath, you'll just overlay it. All right. We'll hit that edge there. Okay, let's see, where are we? Let's tuck some dark in these windows. A little bit of purple color here. Just to create some depth. There are stained glass windows hanging in the, I should say they were stained glass windows hanging in the windows, and there are these nice old-fashioned curtains along the brass poles, so we have to kind of work around that a little bit. We may as well go ahead and darken up all the windows, and these windows have little shades in them, so just going to darken up the part where you're peeking into the building underneath the shade. I hope I'm speaking loud enough. I realize I'm starting to concentrate too much, and my voice drops when I do that. So here we go. Gonna keep on going. Same over here. You can see my color running, so just come back. Hit it all again, a little darker. A little bit. Okay, there we go. We're getting there. Same thing over here. And I'm just going to darken all these windows. All the glass area. In the door, in the window, another window, and just the door, and another window. Okay. And then of course we got to go back and clean up our drips a little bit. And so we have a transom here, so we got to hit that. That's that ventilation thing above old doorways. Okay, so we need to decide what color to make the steel of the vehicle, and since I've already got a lot of green here, I'm going to do a contrasting red, like a rust color. I mean, not a rust, like a maroon color. That's what we want. All right, so we just try to figure out which parts of the truck are metal. The fenders, this little section here, and the hood. And then we hit the little hubcaps with a little bit of red too. I guess they're not really hubcaps, they're where all the wire wheels bolt to the rim. Yeah, okay, let's see, where are we? Let's hit those telephone poles. Make them stand out. Okay, there's one, and there's the other one. Okay, switching to a smallest brush, I'm going to mix up some yellow shade color, dull it down a little bit. And paint in our shades. Gives a nice little accent to the window. And I think these stained glass frames were probably oak, so we'll hit a little yellow there. Let's see, the curtains, once again, we're going to go for some red velvet curtains. We'll just tuck it, see they're pulled to the side, so we'll just tuck that little bit of color in there like that. Okay. Let's see, it's the sidewalk needs a little attention, so just get a little bit of, just dirt color, we'll call it. We'll hit that. And while we're at it, we'll just tuck a little shadow underneath our vehicle. A little shade on the ground kind of thing. Okay, let's see, we're going to go back to our background trees and kind of strengthen them up a little bit. There we go. Make them show up a little better, not too strong color, just enough to make them noticeable. Take your time, just go around those edges. Okay. Now while I've got this color out, I'm gonna darken it up a little bit, because underneath these roof areas, I forgot to check my colors as I'm going along. That's what the board here is for, but I forget what I'm doing. Little shadow underneath this wood trim. Underneath there, and of course underneath the roof overhang. And what I do that way is I just tuck some strong color there. And of course it's running, so I'll take my brush, squeeze it out a little bit, and I just kind of fade that a little bit to where we don't have a hard edge, but we have a little bit of darkness. Okay, same thing. Of course, underneath the first story porch. Okay, just fade that color up a little bit. And one more place, let's see, underneath this little bit of trim, just a little bit. And of course, if we think about our light being on the left side, then this whole area of the building over here is going to be more in shadow, so we darken that using that slightly darker green with a little bit of blue in it. And then I am reminded of the same thing with the brick, so we darken this area also. Okay, we're getting there. I don't know what to put in these windows, so I'll just grab a little peach, a little bit of yellow, and just dull it down some. And where are we? Okay, let's go to the trim. All the wooden trim. That's about a little too green, so we'll cut that. Yeah, a little more water to lighten it. All right, and we'll have at it with the trim. And that's all this wooden trim here. Around the windows, and I realize I better switch to my smaller brush before I do any more of that. So here we go. All the wooden trim on the front of the porch. Same thing right here. I've squeezed out my brush and I'm just going to pick up that runny part and then move over to this entire upper section is wood. And on the front, here, this board here, and there, and then down, of course, to this entire wooden section right here with all these brackets. Okay, let's see, switching to the smaller brush now. Really small brush, I'm going to run around and do the trim around the windows. And the door, we'll just paint the door yellow too. Watercolor, of course, dries very fast and you can just keep going, bounce around, you know, work in the dry areas. Lost my brush. And, you know, come back when other areas are dry and concentrate on them. All right, so we've done all the window trim now. Take your time. This is not something you can just hurry. You've got to stay inside the lines, be careful. Let's see, these are vents. And then we just hit a little yellow there for the window. Where else we got? Let's see, yellow trim right here. And these windows, this door. Losing my voice again. Darker on the front of the wooden trim here. Yep. Let's add a little something else to that. Really darken it there. We get a little bit more orange in there. Okay, running to get that. And let's go back to the church. The church, I don't know, we're just going to do a little gray for the trim because we don't want to give a lot of concentration or draw a lot of attention to this. This is just a background building. Let's see, have a little yellow orange in the light. Oops, we missed a shade. Okay. A little dark underneath. This is the trim sticks out. It has this little soffit. So we put a little dark on the soffit right there. To do a detail like that, I hold my brush like that and my finger runs on the paper and I can get a nice, fairly even line there. We also have this trim around the windows on the lower area. It's supposed to be yellow, but I think I've got a little bit of green in my brush, so wipe that back. Come back at it. There we go. And while I got that darker color, I might as well just tuck a little shadow in between these wooden brackets. Okay, where does that leave us? Forgot to paint our brick sills green. There we go. All right. Let's see, the tires. How about those tires? There we go. I'm going to take that tire color, tuck a little red in it to give us our our trim on the car, on the woody wagon. It's like a darker stained maple. So all this, oops, losing my support here. All this other wooden trim that builds the frame of the body is a darker stain, like a maple color. So we go ahead and fill that all in. Helps to be a little bit of a car fan. Get this right. This is, I think I actually built this model as a child, so I'm a little bit familiar with it because of that. Otherwise, it's tricky, a little tricky. It's a little bit more red because I forgot the front fender here. There we go. And I think the running board down here is a dark like a black. And then we have the inside. Let's give it some, I don't know, green seats. They're just like these leather seats inside here. Okay. Let's go back to our windows. I'm not quite happy with how dark they're not dark enough, so I'm gonna just go back and strengthen them up a little bit. And that's a little dark, so I just blot it with my hand. A little bit of red, a little bit of blue, trying to get a dirty purple color. And just work your way around, get some more paint, keep on going. That out, I think a little bit of dark along the edge of the sidewalk. And dark on this side of the street, perhaps. Once again, a little bit more underneath the vehicle. See how that builds up nicely? Might as well just sort of darken where the spindles are, or the wire wheels. And back to the inside, and just this is the inside of the wood frame of the car interior, so we'll just do like a little wood color. Okay. And just do a little dark there, and just blot it off your finger. It will absorb a slight little bit of paint. Where does that leave us? Oh, we have a quick look, and let's see, let's just darken up a couple more. Is this shadow a little bit more underneath the porches? So you just hit them all, pull the brush, pull the water out of the brush a little bit with your hand, sort of dry brush it back up there a little bit. And let's see. Oh, you could always come back, you know, when I do wooden structures, you always want to come back maybe and pull out a few boards here and there. Get a little darker color, pull out a few boards here and there. Give it that weathered look. Random, you gotta, for a random approach. Same thing with the bricks, you can come back in and just, again, very small brush, and just hit a few bricks here and there, especially lower, closer to the earth where they'd be dirtier or wet or for whatever reason. Okay, so let's see, one or two last things. Gonna mix up some yellow, a little darker yellow, and just in a couple of places. Put a little dark shadow underneath parts of the window frame to make them stand out a little bit. And this again, this is an underneath kind of soffit area, so that gets a little dark. Maybe a little bit here. See, it just brings out the structure a little bit. All right. Very last thing is just look for some other miscellaneous dark color. And I'm just gonna do a little dark accent where all the cast iron filigree is. I'm just gonna block in the areas like that. That brings them out, makes them stand out a little bit more. All this ironwork is supported by some, I keep saying is, and I mean was supported by some cast iron columns, something like that. So we darken those up. And there you have it. You could fool around with this a great deal more, but this is just meant to be a quick demo. So, and even as I say that, I continue to see areas where I just want to do a little touch up here and there, little shadow lines on the wooden part, etc. One more, and as usual, thank you very much for watching, and there will be a link at the end of the video to show you how you can buy the Viviva color set. That would be the Viviva color set like this, and of course the other one, which the other kit, which is a really nice upside down, yes, color sheet kit. This is really nice because you can just touch the color and it puts out a ton of paint. These are very intense colors, very intense paint, and this is what I use for plein air painting for traveling. All right, thank you again for watching.